my personal accounts on Twitter and Facebook and things like that. But it's so great to see so many of you back in action here in the studio. And as you can see, we are actually in a proper studio. And there's so much stuff around here. I can walk over here. Uh-oh, the camera just fell. I'll fix that in a jiff. See? This is what happens when you're live on the air, on the studio. See? We got wires and plugs everywhere. It's so much fun to be our own producers. Caro says, hola. Hey, look, I see people in the chat room. I see Sarah and Eravandi and Jean. Gosh dang it. I always mess that up. I was picked up by a giant. Yes, you were. Look, if you're watching on Facebook, it's 360 video. So you can actually like spin the camera around and see our whole studio. Goodness, felt like I just fell there. Right? With that VR camera, it really feels like you're part of the studio. Argentina is checking in. Hey, Argentina. What do you mean we changed the studio? Sarah in our regular chat room says, and they changed the studio. What do you mean? The studio's the same as it's always been. What game were you playing while you waited, Eravandi? Focoena's in here. So many of our regulars. It's so great to see you guys. Cliff should be joining us shortly. He lives up the street, but he's like an ant. He can never be on time for his own show. So, welcome to Torn Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday. The couch moved, you silly. Yeah, that's right. We've always had two couches. Sometimes we angle them. Sometimes we just have it flat. Remember the red couch? It's sitting over there. Now if you jump onto Facebook Live, you can see the red couch and you can see the whole studio. So that's why we moved the couches for our regular viewers. The couches are moved so our 360 viewers on Facebook can get a whole sense of the space. So, hello. Hi, great to see you guys again. Look, today, big day. It's a big month, but it's a big day because today is Ian Holmes' birthday. He's 86 years old. Our Mr. Bilbo. The first Bilbo to appear on screen. The first actor to play Bilbo on screen. That's not animated. So, we like Ian Holm. He's been in so many wonderful films. I'm partial to the Underworld series about vampires and werewolves and lichens. He was really good in that. Eravandi says she was playing the Little Beauty and the Beast color match game while waiting for the show to start. Mithro Moon says, hello. I'm so glad to see Argentina in the chat and so many other people joining us. It's so wonderful. Jean Bourgeois says, hi there, Torn Chatters. Nice to see you all again. So, do you enjoy the 360 video on Facebook, or do you prefer this nice little set, with the map behind us and everything like that? I'm always curious to see what you guys want to see. This show is for you. So, we're gonna do a quick test. We're going to do a quick quality check on Facebook.com/theOneRingNet, all one word, and see how the video's looking. But what do you guys want to talk about today? Because I'm expecting Cliff to be here, and he's not here for his own show, and he lives down the block. But we can talk about birthdays. We can talk about the upcoming Baggins birthday bash. Yep, I see our little 360 video. And yeah, we're totally back in action. So nice to have regular Torn Tuesdays again. It's crazy how like we took a couple weeks off and how crazy how much I missed it. I tried to do Torn Tuesday on the road, but man, cell phone reception was lacking where I was on those days, on those Tuesdays. So, Myth Moon says, a birthday bash. Yes, we do this every year. We've been doing it for at least 15 years, I believe. But this month, let me check the Facebook event. But this month, we are doing a Baggins Birthday Bash here in Los Angeles at Griffith Park, center of LA. Just a wonderful natural space. If you go to Facebook, and I'm typing it in right now, Baggins Birthday Bash, and oh, there it is. It shows up right in the chat. It shows up as an event. It's September 23rd. September 23rd. You want to add this to your calendar. So go to Facebook, look up Baggins Birthday Bash. You'll see it, the event. Even if you're not coming, put interested so we get a sense of everything. Gene says the road trip videos were really fun to watch. Oh man, you were wonderful to join us on the live stream. I wish we could have streamed more, but man, the internet wasn't there. Seth says, what's new with the world of Middle Earth? I've been missing from Torn Tuesday for like 5 months. Oh man, we've missed you. Well, first off, for the last 3 weeks, we've been on the road to Dragon Con by way of the eclipse. It's been a crazy trip over the last 3 weeks, which I'll get into when Cliff gets back so he can ask me about it. But Caro Alderate from Argentina says September 28th is your birthday. That's only 5 days away from Bilbo's birthday. So, what has been going on in the world of Tolkien? Well, like, if you haven't been here for 5 months, let's do the quick thing. There's 2 movies coming out about J.R.R. Tolkien. One is produced by the former heads of New Line Cinema, and the other one is being produced by Paramount. And the Paramount one has a director, a wonderful Swedish director, Danish director, who's been getting a lot of indie awards recently. They've cast Nicholas Hoult as J.R.R. Tolkien. You know Nicholas as the Beast in X-Men. The reboot, the new one, the latest version, the young Beast. That's Nicholas Hoult. He's also been in a bunch of other stuff. Look him up on IMDb. You'll just see Nicholas Hoult is going to be J.R.R. Tolkien. So that's going to be a wonderful movie about young Tolkien and falling in love with Edith. I hope it goes straight romantic. I would love to see an old school classic romantic movie. Not a rom-com. I don't want it to be funny. I just want to see a dramatic romantic movie. The story of Tolkien and his wife, Edith, is so interesting and so powerful and influenced the creation of Middle Earth and the story of Beren and Luthien. That is it's basically, I would say that this J.R.R. Tolkien movie, starring Nicholas Hoult, could be the Notebook for nerds. Let's just say that. So I'm really, really excited. Randall Lehman, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, how's it going? So again, Facebook 360, regular chat room. So, you know, I can't wait to see these movies. Anyway, back to what else happened in the last couple months. Shadow of War is coming out next month. It's got an all-star cast, including Meltdown friend. We do our show here at Meltdown Comics, and the host and star of the Meltdown on Comedy Central, and just a wonderful guy that's always hanging around here. Kumail Nanjiani is going to be in Shadow of Mordor. We're going to see if we can book him as a guest. We'd love to talk geek with him here at the place where he used to do the Indoor Kids. There's so many synergies here and things like that. So, hey, if you're watching on 360 video, you can see what just happened. If you're on the regular show, you cannot see what just happened. But the Facebook video, man, you guys have a special treat, don't you? Don't you? So, what else has happened in the last 5 months? We've had people come in that say they haven't been here in 5 months. Let's see, we've got 2 movies coming out.
Haven't been here in 5 months?
We've got Shadow of War coming out, starring Kumail Nanjiani. Warner Brothers and MGM and the Tolkien State have settled all their lawsuits.
Yes, they have.
So
we talked about that at WonderCon. We've been talking about that at a lot of conventions lately.
That's right. You know where we didn't talk about it? Dragon Con, because we didn't have a panel. And
Oh,
there's a
wait a minute, wait a minute. Hello, everybody. I thought there was a panel.
Yeah, well, there's a whole lot to talk about. Dragon
I thought
Con.
there was quite a few panels. In fact, Jim Wirt, one of our co-friends and co-ringers there at Dragon Con, hello everybody, actually asked for some of our slideshow because he was going to look at some of the details we did in our WonderCon slideshow so he could incorporate some fabulous details and present it in his panel. So I thought there was some Tolkien discussion.
Yeah, I take that back. It wasn't a full Tolkien track. And
no, there was no Tolkien track.
There was
but they had
a
couple
lot
of panels.
Disappointed fans,
was
fantasy fans.
Was that part of the discussion?
That were just, and I went to several
so.
panels in the fantasy track, which is basically in the same location that the Tolkien track was always been. So I went to a few fantasy panels, and the few I went to, sparsely attended.
Sparsely attended?
Yes, and Carl Urban backed out to the last minute, so there weren't really any celebrity Tolkien guests.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
There was nobody there from the world of Middle Earth to take a photo op or get an autograph with, or to enjoy a panel with. I mean, there was the lack of Tolkien was felt.
Indeed.
Oh, everywhere.
And I can imagine, and I don't know how you wear that heavy knit thermal hat inside this studio, which you can tell is baking like an oven.
Because someone sent it to me.
You see these easy bake lights? These are easy bake lights. They go inside the oven so you can have a little easy bake cake that comes out by the time you're done, right? This is like a living easy bake oven. Sorry, children of the 80s, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Look, I love the hats that people send me.
Children of the 70s.
Every hat that I've worn in the show, someone has sent me here to Meltdown Comics, care of me.
Good to see you, sir, by the way. Yes. And it's great to see that people have been sending you wonderful gifts.
Jean Bourgeois says the 360 camera should be set where I can see you both at the same time. Well, that's the magic of 360.
I thought it was pronounced Jen.
Jen? Is it Jen or Jean? Man, I keep messing that up. But she says
it's usually my job to mispronounce her name.
We should see both people at the same time.
I'm looking at this side of a camera saying hello.
And I'm looking at this side of the camera saying hello.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Basically, Miss Bourgeois, by having the 360 camera, you can choose who to look at. You can look at my ugly mug
or my ugly
Cliff's
face.
award-winning television-ready
no.
star
Hello, Pete.
of stage and screen.
Guys, welcome to Torn Tuesday. Better late than never, but a wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Guess what? You're back from Dragon Con. Guess what, everybody? We have to say yes. A little housekeeping here. We have been off the air from our traditional weekly show here at Meltdown Comics, and thank God for them hosting us here in the heart of Hollywood. But this man has been doing a wonderful, wonderful job, and I need to take my hat off to you, sir.
Oh, geez.
Such a gentleman, a scholar, running around the country with the resources in his car to do a live stream, and he did it. He did a live stream all the way across the country. And then something happened last week, and it was called Driving Through the Ozarks. And you kind of lost your signal last Tuesday, right? Forgive us, we didn't do a show last week.
The first week I was gone. I was in Yellowstone.
Oh, how cool. For the eclipse.
For the eclipse.
Oh, yes, dude.
I was in
That's where he was.
The
eclipse.
The totality zone. I was in darkness for 2 whole minutes. There was a 22-degree drop in temperature. We had to put on our coats. It got chilly.
Oh, my.
And when it started getting dark, you could hear all the wild animals around us start screaming and hollering. You could hear bears roar and elk screaming and rabbits and buffalo. Everyone was making noise, and birds were fluttering, and flowers were closing. You could see nature reacting to the eclipse.
Indeed.
And you could hear it, and we got really kind of nervous because we heard all these screaming of these animals. And we're like, I hope that's not a they're not going to come rampaging toward us.
Was it their night cries?
I don't know what it was.
Their
they
night
were
calls?
freaking out.
Really?
Mithra Moon says the eclipse was awesome. Yes.
It was indeed.
It was awesome, and it's worth the effort, and it's worth the trip. And in fact, I'm actually kind of disappointed. With all this talk, you can't get away from this concept of fake news and whatever like that. But I tell you, the crowds were not there. and all of the news reports of like record crowds and
At DragonCon?
No, at the eclipse.
Oh, the eclipse.
The record crowds and the insane traffic, and don't travel to the totality zone, and you won't be able to get anywhere or find a place or rent a thing, was totally not true. I think the news reports of the insane crowds scared the insane crowds away.
You think?
Yeah, and there was hardly any crowds going. So it was a real interesting. It was good. It was neat to see everything happening, but I was kind of expecting a bigger crowd, because we had a whole setup. We had multiple telescopes, and we were doing cameras and recording and photos, and we had all the glasses. Check this out.
Oh, look at that.
These,
Eclipse glasses.
Eclipse glasses. People
Solar viewer
don't
glasses.
realize how dark these are.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they really, really, really are. They will completely obscure your vision. For
When I
anything.
put these on right now, everything is black. Like, I'm looking straight at the light, and there's nothing there. I'm looking straight at my computer screen. The TV is black. There's nothing on the TV.
Until suddenly, Pennywise jumps out of the toilet. Ah!
I'm not going to see that movie.
I just came back from the theater.
I'm
Actually,
scared.
that's why I'm here now. Sorry, I was just at the historic Vista Theater in the heart of East Hollywood, not far from Thai Town. And where was I? I was being absorbed in the whole new Stephen King It phenomenon, constantly comparing it in my mind to the classic Tim Curry It Pennywise from the 80s.
Jen
Very interesting.
Bourgeois says I only got 63% totality. I
That's not so bad.
can tell you for sure that the difference between 60% or 90% and 100% totality
Is a big difference.
is a huge difference.
Yeah, you're right. It is a huge difference when there's complete totality and it
Even
completely disappears.
90% feels like, oh, something's going on. 100% totality. The black line across America.
Yep.
It was a crazy unique experience. I mean,
Yes,
you know,
I
the
can
temperature
imagine.
drop and the screaming and everything like that. Like, it was just amazing, insane. I want to do it again. Yeah,
I would love to do it again, but isn't the next one going to be in some other faraway country in like a couple of years?
I think the next couple of them are in South America, Brazil,
Yes,
Argentina. But
that's right.
in 7
Always
years,
worth going to the Southern Hemisphere.
in 7 years. Wait,
Yes.
no, 2023. Yeah, about 7 years.
Mhm.
It will be doing a shot across America from Ohio down to Arkansas, I believe.
No,
So
really?
yeah, there's another
In 7 years?
American eclipse.
I thought it wasn't going to be for a long, 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 long
No.
time.
Not like this. I guess there's a new one coming. Yeah, Myth Through the Moon says our next one is in 2024. Anyway, I highly recommend. And I was trying to think, Cliff, was there anything in Tolkien's stories about eclipses?
None. However, the most significant moment where a big fantasy movie uses the eclipse as a key component of its storytelling would be Dragon Slayer from the late 80s. Anybody remember that movie? With Sir Ralph Richardson? Mm-hmm. Peter McNichol, very young Peter McNichol, and some other really great character actors from British theater and movies. Anybody remember how significant the total eclipse was? Let me type this. Oh, I'm telling the Twitterverse. Hey, we're talking Twitter stuff. We're talking Tolkien stuff, actually. Did I say Twitter stuff? You know what? Anybody goes back in time, and they always want to compare, especially if they have the memory of an elephant, like I do, comparing Smaug and the desolation of Smaug and everything we saw with Benedict Cumberbatch and that dragon with Vermithrax, the great dragon from the 80s film Dragon Slayer. And that is where the eclipse, not in The Lord of the Rings, not in The Hobbit, no, celestial events that happen in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings that are significant include the movement of the moon, right? Remember, they had to get the moonlight to shine upon the keyhole in The Hobbit to see the invisible keyhole on the outside of Erebor. But no solar eclipse. A lot of other fantasy uses solar eclipse and other celestial happenings as significant things.
So what
in Game of Thrones, that red comet that everybody sees in season 2. I
So
think.
what was that moment where that illuminated the map that showed the ruins?
It was the last light of the setting sun on Durin's Day, the Dwarven New Year. Yes.
Is that an eclipse day or is that a solstice day?
No, it's closer. No. I think it's closer to being first day of autumn, which is what? The equinox in our world? Get it? Yeah, it's closer.
Equinox.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah,
fall
a
and
solstice.
spring begin.
Oh, it's
wait,
the
sorry.
opposite of solstice,
right?
right?
No, an opposite of solstice is the equinox. That's right. The summer solstice is then followed by the autumnal equinox.
That's right.
And Durin's Day is probably closer to, one of those things. Oh, wait, you know what? No, wait a minute. Am I wrong, guys? Am I totally wrong? But the last light of the setting sun on Durin's Day was last day of fall, first day of winter. I don't know. That's the Dwarven New Year. But no, there were no eclipses in Tolkien's stories. But hey, you experienced the real thing.
The real thing is amazing. I tell you what, though.
And you enjoyed it? Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it.
Did you try any trick photography?
I tried the trick photography. I did the whole deal.
Don't they tell you not to point your cameras and point your
No,
devices at it?
I had to make a filter for my camera.
Yeah, you put this.
Made out of the same things, because this is not the size of my lens, right? I had to make a thing that is the size of my lens.
It is here. I mean,
there's
look.
a lot of talk in the chat room about Doctor Who.
There, that covers my lens.
About Northerner putting a picture of Doctor Number 10 in eclipse glasses on the Facebook thread, which I do see that. Speaking of the doctors, that was basically the only the major representation at DragonCon this year
Was Doctor Who.
was Doctor Who.
Really?
That everyone from Karen
These are complete
Gillian
blackouts.
to Matt Smith to who's Torchwood?
Torchwood. I don't know.
Or not Torchwood. Who's Torchwood, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Captain Jack Harkness. What's his name?
Wow. So
what who's that guy?
I don't know. Sorry, I've never watched Torchwood. Hate me, please. Haters sending their hate on the internet right now.
The
I don't
only
watch
people at DragonCon
the Doctor Who
this year
spin-off
was
show Torchwood. Hate me now.
Alex Kingston was there. Hey, we actually got to interview Alex Kingston. So I think we'll be posting that video. We
Really?
shot it in VR as well.
Oh, good.
So I think
good.
it's the very first interview
John Barrowman.
with
There you
Alex
go, John
Kingston,
Barrowman. There you go. Alex Kingston,
in 360 VR.
John Barrowman, and Arthur DeVille. Thank you, Sarah.
Barrowman was there. John Barrowman. And you know what? He went to his photo op, where people pay $80 to take your photo with you.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up in Wonder Woman shorts and sequined top.
That's good. Was Wonder Woman a big presence there? Did you see some great cosplay that included
some amazing, not Wonder Womans, but all the other characters from Wonder Woman.
Oh, Amazons and other characters, really?
All the Amazons were represented at DragonCon. It was amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
And I tell you what, the biggest change this year from the last few years that we've gone is how many Black Panthers there were, like straight out of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and and how many Finns and
Adventure Time?
no
Finn?
no
Finn the
like
dog
Star
and
Wars,
Jake the
like,
dog and Finn the human?
Representation matters.
Oh,
that was,
you mean Finn from The Force Awakens.
That was my takeaway from DragonCon this year, is that representation matters.
That's
and
cool.
now that we've had a few movies like Rogue One and The Force Awakens and Black Panther and everything coming out, like, it's happening. And I'm seeing the cosplay at DragonCon, people spending tons of hours showing up, doing their thing, and it's just
great.
amazing.
That
Anything
sounds
goes.
really cool, actually. That sounds
Torchwood is
really,
an
really cool.
anagram of Doctor Who, correct? If you take the words Doctor Who, DOCTORHOWHO,
Really?
and
I didn't know
you
that.
rearrange them, you get Torchwood. And Torchwood was a spin-off series.
Yes, indeed it was.
That's
One that
right.
I have unfortunately missed. And
That's
I hope
right.
that the Doctor Who clan out there on the internet doesn't hate me, but
I
hey,
never watched Torchwood either, so you're not alone.
yeah.
I tell you what
But-
else I saw, and I'm so happy to say this,
What?
because so many things are Rule 34'd. So many things are overtly sexualized for camera opportunities. There's so many things, so many characters that are cosplayed that aren't accurate to the original. You know, they enhance everything in cosplay, men and women. I tell you what
Yes,
was
they do.
not
Yeah.
enhanced.
What?
The one show, this is the first time I've ever seen one show, all the characters of one show, no one enhanced anything. And that was
From what?
That was from Westworld.
Yeah, okay.
The Westworld
I knew you were going to say that. I
cosplayers
knew you were going to say
were
Westworld.
all accurate, period.
Western.
Piece, Western. They weren't, and no one was trying to be the sexy version of this and the hot version of that. I mean, you know, they've got in that show they've got hot guys, hot girls. You know, it would be easy to do something with Westworld, but everyone that was cosplayed at DragonCon from Westworld was amazing. Wait,
Hi, Hannah. Welcome to the chat.
Focoena Bayorn died last month.
Oh, no.
What is it? What does that mean?
Focoena lost one of her beautiful pets.
Oh no!
One of her very, very friendly little guys. I'm so sorry to hear that.
No.
That's like losing part of the family when that happens. Focoena,
Yeah.
we send our regards. Hats off for Bayorn. Hats off for Bayorn. It's a moment of silence. He was an excellent little fellow. Now, we are sorry. I'm really sorry. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart. Well, I tell you what. It's always tough to lose a pet, that's for sure.
That's right.
You know what I feel bad? I really feel a lot of feelings because while you've been traveling across the country on the north and going over to the east, the south has been flooded by this storm and that storm. As anybody's been watching the news, we've had a couple of big hurricanes hit the country. And what I feel most bad about, I see lots of amazing rescue footage. I see people getting rescued from their flooded homes. Remarkable tales of people out there, civilians out there in their boats, helping their fellow neighbors and fellow man.
Yeah.
Helping people they don't even know. Even though there might have been people that voted for someone else they didn't want to vote for. But they're out there in their boats helping people, and it really filled my heart with something called joy, humanity. It made me feel something really good, especially the footage of rescuing the dogs and the kitties. Boy, did I see a lot of pet rescues, because that is one of the worst unspoken little sidelines of having a huge disaster and having a storm surge come up and flood. Oh, by the way, everybody in my family who all reside in the state of Florida, they're all fine. My mom and my dad are still without power. They're fine though, but they're alive. You know, there's some trees down on the property, some that they were suspicious of. They've got a generator going so they can keep the refrigerator and the freezer cold, so they can have food that's cold. Everything's fine, but the best stories of all that kind of touch the heart in a unique way are those cat and dog videos where people are out there in the waters rescuing these animals, man.
Yeah.
You got to call me a sucker. I am. I'm a sentimental sucker for that. So, Focoena, I feel your love and your
tell you
loss
what was good
for
for
your pets.
Dragon Con
I do.
because of the hurricane is because the hurricanes were forming during Dragon Con, it pulled all the moisture
Out of the area?
out of the area. So Dragon Con was the most beautiful I've ever seen it. No rain.
Really?
Not very humid.
Really? That's nice.
Sunny, dry,
I
warm.
guarantee you some people who were going to attend Dragon Con were affected by these area storms in the southeast. And I bet you they didn't go.
No, everybody was there. Record attendance, 88,000 people.
Really?
Showed up.
88,000?
It was jam packed.
Wow.
And and the interesting thing about this year is that they've spread out all of the parties and events. So it used to be like everyone just was at the Marriott.
Yeah.
The middle hotel.
Yes,
and
that's
it
right.
just became like you could barely walk. You were just like shoulder to shoulder.
That's something that I kind of enjoyed about the experience.
But now they've spread it out. So there's like, you know, Friday night the party's over at the Hyatt. Saturday night the party's over at the Hilton. But they spread it out. There was some stupid people that threw chairs off the 10th floor balcony.
Oh,
and
no.
hit people in the head.
Oh,
That
no.
required stitches and things like that.
Oh, my gosh. Whoa.
Stupid drunk people.
Whoa.
Giving Dragon Con a bad name. But other than that, Dragon Con was so much fun. But the big thing is that I just feel like everybody was missing the Tolkien track. There was a lot of great content that people will always look forward to, and now is the most important time to do Tolkien content because you've got movies about Tolkien coming out. Warner Brothers has settled the lawsuit.
And
We've talked about Shadow of War many times.
Yes. Hey, you know what? Now that they have settled that lawsuit, we've talked about this quite a lot. I guarantee you, Justin, the Tolkien track could be resurrected if Warner Brothers announces some anthology TV series based on the appendices or a bridge film between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Even a limited series, 6 episodes of like the Quest for Moria.
Look, you've got the standalone films coming out in the Star Wars universe ad nauseum. They're coming out left and right, and there's going to be more and more and more. And hey, what? Guess what? Obi-Wan's going to get his own individual standalone film. Yes. Boba Fett eventually will get his own standalone film. My prediction, I can put the envelope into my hat like the great Karnak, and I'm going to be just like, you know, there you go. Do it. Do it. Do the great Karnak. Remember that? Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show? Predict the future? Yes, I predict the future. There's going to be standalone films coming out, and all these things that are going to happen, and more video games, much more interesting things, and stuff we don't even know. Augmented reality games may yet come very soon. I guarantee you the existence of the Tolkien track at DragonCon may be a thing that has been removed, but there's every opportunity for it to be brought back by the organizers of that convention in the future when there's other engines of storytelling happening live on our airwaves, in our theaters, on our devices. But believe me, it may come back. It may come back.
The other interesting thing about DragonCon is there were several major fan films that screened there. I
really?
mean,
No, they do that
they
at Comic-Con. Fan films are a big thing at Comic-Con.
At DragonCon, I mean, these were high profile. There were 2 Star Trek fan films.
Oh, that's cool.
That starred 48 actual Star Trek actors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was amazing fan films, like feature fan films from other fandoms. And the level of quality. Look, cameras are cheap, editing programs are cheap. Everyone can do this stuff now at home. So basically, it kind of DragonCon kind of showed me that this stuff's happening. And then, you know, our friend David just got back from the Toronto Film Festival, and it was full of independent films of, you know, first-time directors that just like made a film. Through whatever, like they had to make their film, right? And then it goes to a festival, and next thing you know, they're directing Jurassic World, like Colin Trevorrow, or they're directing Star Wars, like Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no reason not to make your film now.
That's true. In fact,
but it got me to the point where, you know, everyone's been talking about these lawsuits. It's Paramount versus Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's always been like we're just fans making a film, you know. But I got to DragonCon, and you know, they're having these screenings of these films, Star Trek fan films. But when you have professional level cameras, editing on professional level software, starring 48 actual Star Trek actors,
veterans from the actual series,
and former effects people that actually worked on the actual movies and TV shows, doing these fan films. It's not a fan film anymore. You are just a regular filmmaker exploiting someone else's IP. You know, there's a big difference, and I think the Tolkien fan films, The Quest for Gollum, and what was the other one? About was it Aragorn or something like that? There was another Tolkien fan film, but
Estelle, it
was right,
which means hope.
It's right on the edge of like, you know,
that was young Aragorn's fake nickname when he was being hidden and protected by Elrond. His nickname was Estelle, so that nobody would know his lineage, to keep him safe.
I think the big difference between a fan film
like Jon Snow
and exploiting IP that maybe you shouldn't is like with the Lord of the Rings fan films. Richard Taylor wasn't involved in that, you know. No one that worked on Lord of the Rings was involved in that.
Right.
You know, they made their costume themselves. You know, based only on screenshots. Yeah. Right. The actors were all new, independent, didn't have many credit. You know, so like when you get to the point where I see at Dragon Con all these fan films that are starring actual actors with a crew that worked on the actual thing, I'm like, you know, Paramount has a point. Everyone has a point. Like, if you've got that level of talent working with you, make your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you make your own thing, you may get to direct Star Wars. Or maybe
someday
a Lord of the Rings TV series.
Are you listening, Hannah? Hannah's making big plans. She's our up-and-coming...
Born of Hope. That was the one I was thinking.
Born of Hope. Thank you. That was the one.
So
Born of Hope, because Estelle means...
I think the studios will respond more to people that make films, even if you use... Let's say you got like 10 people that worked on Lord of the Rings. Visual effects people, costume people, production people, and maybe a couple actors that played Rohan soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Then what are you going to do with that? You're going to make a Lord of the Rings fan film? Or are you going to make something original with that crew and make something magic?
Mm-hmm.
Original and magic. What do you think the studio is going to respond to better and maybe give you work on a future television show or movie spin-off of Middle-earth? They're not going to point to the fan film. They're going to point to this original project like, you know what, you're creative enough to take these people and put them in your own world.
It's happened when directors make the transition from shooting TV commercials or music videos, and then people look at their work and say, you know, yeah, you can really shoot that. You know what you're doing with that. And then they give them other jobs for episodic television and even feature films.
Born of Hope even has its own soundtrack.
Indeed.
You know,
Indeed.
And without people that worked on Lord of the Rings.
Now, Born of Hope and The Hunt for Gollum are available for free to watch because they have to prove to the license holder, the people at the studio who own that intellectual property, that they're not capitalizing it. They're not making any commercial profit. So that's what they do. They offer that for free.
And I think it's I just think it's.
But
if
it's
you're
a
going to
great way to
spend all
get your
the
talent
effort
out there. I agree with you on that.
I don't know if it's a good way of getting your talent out there. I mean,
why not?
if you know how to assemble a team that can create amazing things,
yeah,
like these fan films can do,
that's a big task in filmmaking.
Why play in Tolkien and Warner Brothers' yard? Why don't you build your own sandbox? Create your own world.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you got to cut your teeth on something.
Was it Ryan Johnson that did A Safety Not Guaranteed? You know.
Yeah.
Amazing little film. You know. But you know, just if you're gonna spend all that time and effort like making something, make something that could go to a film festival.
Look,
the Hunt for Gollum is not going to a film festival.
No, it's not. That's true. But I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, look, I watched Ryan Johnson's earlier film Brick, and having watched that, which is a great little oddball movie, there's nothing in that would indicate to me he's the kind of director who I would hand that franchise to.
Right.
Even accomplished filmmakers. Now, Ryan Johnson comes out with a movie like Looper, and now he's taking us into the science fiction, time travel, weird, speculative fiction world, and I think, maybe Ryan Johnson can handle that type of material as a director. I wouldn't have thought it before, but he showed us how.
But if he had done
any talented filmmaker wants to make a Hunt for Gollum fan film, they are showing their greatest strength. You would hope. You'd hope that it's a great calling card. It's a great thing to have in your resume.
I don't think it's
I'm the filmmaker who made this fan film, and everybody knows my work.
I don't think it's a good calling card.
Okay, you're gonna tell me why?
Well, I think I just explained how, you know, when you've got a team that all that creativity around you, you're gonna play in someone else's sandbox. I mean,
just to cut your teeth?
No,
just as a practice session.
Cutting your teeth.
It's a mulligan.
Creatively is as important as technically.
Okay.
You want to cut your teeth technically and learn how to frame the shots, play with the cameras, use the software.
Sure.
That's one thing. But you have to, like, you know, I don't think Ryan Johnson would have got any work on Star Wars if he had done a Star Wars fan film. I don't know anyone that works at Weta, and I don't know anyone that Peter Jackson or Richard Taylor has hired that did fan films.
How many? All right. Okay. That's also a good counterpoint.
Now there's something to artists practicing ZBrush and sketching and, you know, getting, you know, hand drawn or 3D model inspiration from Peter Jackson's work, but going through the intense effort. You know how hard it is to make a movie, and the amount of people required to, make
Yes.
a movie and put it together.
Well, one of the biggest tasks of handling a film project is not just handling the film itself, but handling the project, the team of people.
Right.
I mean, they say 50% of a director's job is in casting choices.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like Avengers Assemble. Tony Stark had the right idea to get the right Avengers together for the right team. And when you're a filmmaker, you need the right team and the right resources put together, and that's always a challenge. Why is it we've had these sudden changes with Star Wars directors left and right? Because they put
It's hard.
they put a team together, and someone on the team didn't share in the right pocket with the right vision with everybody else was sharing, and so they had to leave, and they got to find someone else. Team building.
And it's even harder on an independent film where nobody's getting paid.
Yes.
Where everyone's volunteering their time,
Yes.
and you basically have to make concessions like, I'm not paying for this, so I get what I get. So if you're going to go through all that effort to make a film, don't make a fan film. Make something original.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same amount of people are going to watch a fan film as the same amount of people would watch an independent film on IFC or Sundance or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
What's that guy, Nacho Vigilante, who just did Colossal
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with Anne Hathaway? Huge movie, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not a huge movie. It made $3 million.
Well, compared to its budget, that was quite successful.
But
Yeah.
like, at least he made something original.
I hear you on that point, and I appreciate that point. But anyways, the fan films at DragonCon being like a prominent feature, did you see anything? Any fan films did you get to watch at any screenings? Did you see anything?
I didn't sit through any of the films, so I can't judge on their
Okay.
quality and things like
Well,
that.
I like
but
that they're
I just,
programming that. I like that they're
I
programming
like that they're
films like
programming
that.
it.
Me
The
too.
other thing that Dragon Con does that no other con does, and I was talking to Chris Gore, who you may remember from G4 and several other TV shows.
And Film Threat, his huge
yeah,
website that he created.
He just rebooted Film Threat. He
Yeah.
was there, and we were talking how DragonCon is the only one that does DragonCon TV. They actually produce
I like
a
that.
24-hour
I really like
live television network.
I have
that
enjoyed
is-
DragonCon TV.
That is, and it's broadcast to all hotel rooms
Yes, it does.
at DragonCon.
Yeah, it's really funny. I don't know.
And
I don't know who's behind that, but that's a fun endeavor.
But
It's really
we
fun.
talked to a couple people that work at DragonCon, and it's all volunteers. And they said they actually have a couple guys that handle it, all volunteer. They put out submissions. Everyone submits their own fan films and stuff like that.
Shorts,
and
yeah.
shorts and TV zingers and
Performance
things like
videos, yeah.
that. Yeah.
Bumpers.
And,
They do a lot of bumpers.
A lot of bumpers.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
and that stuff is all like copyright and remix and stuff like that. So that stuff I understand. The DragonCon TV, which is short form, like bumpers, stingers, remixes, we're talking like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes max.
Like the Adult Swim bumper cards that are in between the TV show and the commercial. They're barely 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But some of them are fun as hell. They're great. They're really talented, funny bits.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pull a joke, a good joke, and a sight gag. Believe me, if you know anything about physical comedy, it doesn't take long. You can set up a sight gag and play it out in less than 30 seconds. That's what commercials do.
I think there's
Yes.
something interesting about spending your creative efforts doing a little zinger.
Yeah.
Not a full feature film.
I see your position. I
So-
see your position.
And I think that, as far as exposure, stingers will get you work.
You think?
Like, if you make someone laugh, hey, that was funny. You took this thing, remixed it with this thing, and you made me laugh for 30 seconds.
You know,
I'm going to
we should back this up with some statistics. I'd like to go and see all the people who won the Doritos fan commercial contest for the Super Bowl year after year, because they've done a few of those. And let's see which one of those little directors have gone on to other careers shooting commercials or music videos or other projects. I'd be interested in following up on that. There's always a way to get your creativity out, and I'm not going to argue or put too fine a point of an argument on it, but I don't see any problem with your energy as a fan, your motivation that motivates you as being part of this fandom, and having that fuel your creativity. I don't see any problems with that.
Hannah Took in the chat room just described a paranormal investigator pitch that sounds like the sequel to Casper. Did you ever see Casper with Christina Ricci?
Yeah, everybody saw that.
Yeah, did you see the sequel to it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Didn't see the sequel. Nope.
Well, I enjoyed Casper, and I thought it was a fun movie, and I thought it was a good use of early CGI.
Yeah.
You know, and Bill Pullman.
Yeah,
the dad
Bill
in
Pullman
that?
is the dad.
Yeah,
Young
yeah.
Christina Ricci.
And
a
wonderful
couple
film.
of fun character actors who show up in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I mean, for a kid's little, ghost comedy movie, it was fun. It was better than Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
That had Terrence Stamp. Believe it or not, Terrence Stamp and Eddie Murphy.
Relation
but
to the
yeah.
Tolkien
No.
world.
I have to say that Casper was probably a bit more fun and satisfying than that bad Haunted Mansion attempt.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But Dragon Con, I have to wonder why no other convention with much deeper pockets, I might add, whether it's New York, Chicago, C2E2, PAX, Emerald City, PAX East, PAX West, PAX South, Comic-Con, WonderCon, you name it.
Gen Con.
All of these giant conventions, why do none of them produce anything like Dragon Con TV?
That's an interesting question.
Because
that's a really interesting question.
And the other thing I wonder that Dragon Con does that no one else does is it's a 24-hour convention. There's panels, there's parties.
Yeah.
We're talking official sanction, not off-sites that you have to go to a booth and sign up. No, we're talking like if you've got a badge, you're getting in.
Yeah.
24 hours a day.
Even if it's a 3 a.m. panel or a party.
There's 3 a.m. panels.
Yeah.
There's the DJs that go on at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, MC Chris went on at midnight 30.
Yeah,
you know, like
cool.
They book talent and they book events, and it's not just like one party. It's like there's multiple. Like if you're into leather and industrial, like there's this whole underworld themed
Crux Shadows.
thing,
That was the band's Crux Shadows.
Yeah.
Were they there again? With the whole underground, well, not underground, but if you're a late 80s, early 90s goth kid, like me, because I really was, then oh my god, an original Cure song shows up in the movie It.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly placed. There's a good sense of humor, and there's a lot of fun bits in the movie It. Especially the placement of that Cure song. This is stranger than I ever thought. I love that song.
Someone was just asking in the chat room that they're about to cosplay as Galadriel and they need to make her brooch. I would suggest, rather than making it out of glue guns and cardboard, go to Etsy. Go to Badali
Etsy.
Jewelry,
Yeah,
Badali, Badali Jewelry. But go to Etsy, go to Witchsea, go to...
As in W-I-T-C-H?
Yeah, Witchsea and Etsy and Badali. And you might find what you're looking for, and it'll be a heck of a lot easier and cheaper just buying a small Galadriel brooch rather than making it.
Actually, her brooch is pretty significant. It's really like a really large size item. The Noble Collection had one that was really nice. It's high end. What? Hannah took. I'm sorry, Cliff is just so majestic. I can't see him as a goth. Oh, believe me, I was. I was such a goth kid. I mean, clove cigarettes, eyeliner, black hair dye, listening to Robert Smith and The Cure, and Susie and the Banshees, and Joy Division and New Order. Yeah, I would. Believe me, I'm not making that up. Look, I still have an affection for black t-shirts with evil villains like this. This is our Game of Thrones mashup with the Dark Lord Sauron sitting on the Iron Throne. I've had my hair be every color of the rainbow. It's been green, fuchsia, turquoise, Smurf blue, and it's been a combination of yellow, red, orange, as if it were on fire. It's been all kinds of crazy colors. You name it, it's been there.
Oh yeah, shipping issues to Canada do present something, but there's some sellers in Canada. I don't know what there's a lot of. I say the #1 cosplay convention in the country, possibly the world, is Dragon Con.
Indeed, that's why it's so unique, and I missed it. I feel bad for missing it this year.
People don't just bring a cosplay for every day; they bring a cosplay for every night as well. Like it is. If you're not in cosplay, you are the outside.
Yeah.
Of the core, like Dragon Con, and so there's a ton of discussions and there's a ton of panels and just informal conversations that you have, like how did you make that, where did you get that, how did you make that. It's like everyone, cosplay at all levels, cosplay at all budgets, and and there's even cosplayers that bring sewing machines and hot glue guns to their hotel room.
I know they do. I know they do.
To fix things for people. So it's you'd be surprised how
shattered your reality.
Affordable some things are.
Look,
on Etsy.
When I can't make a complicated accessory for my costume, you've always got cardboard and tempera paints. That's all you need. Right? I'm like old school, man. I made a Jack Skellington costume once, which was phenomenal. I went to the Five and Dime. I lived in Chicago at the time, and that's why we called them still. I went to the Five and Dime, and I got one of those inflatable kids balloon novelties. But it wasn't a balloon. It was one of those things with a rubber thing. Bye, Maddie. We love you, Maddie. See this? Remember it had a rubber handle, and you'd put it around your wrist, and you'd go ba-doom, 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 and you'd push that giant ball, and it would bounce off the elastic string, come back to you, and you'd bounce it off of you again. It was like a punch ball balloon, but it was a toy that was similar to having an inflatable hopper. And the little toddlers and 3-year-olds get to hop around on an inflatable horse. And I'm telling you what, I took that thing, I inflated it to be just the right size to be around my head, and I did paper mache around the entire round thing to make the perfect Jack Skellington skull. I cut out the eyes, I draped the inside of the eyes with black fabric that I could see out of, I painted the mouth, I got a tuxedo, and in order to make this Nightmare Before Christmas look complete, with the tuxedo and this big Jack Skellington head and skeleton gloves, what did I make? I made a big bat bow tie. But it was such a complicated accessory, I couldn't make it out of, I wasn't that clever at the time to get dry clay pieces, the stuff that they use. I did tempera paints on cardboard. And then it got even better. Guess what else I made?
What?
I made a beautiful hand puppet that was Zero, his little ghost dog. And it was made out of wire hangers that had been twisted into the right shape to make his elongated nose. And I got a battery pack with a light in it to put a little pumpkin, and I got an ornament of a pumpkin, and I put a light inside of it on the end of his nose. And I made a Zero hand puppet with all this white fabric that was draped over the coat hangers. And I had my complete Jack Skellington look, but I was not afraid to do something like Ratchet. Like, stupid tempera paints on cardboard. It was so low rent, but the rest of the costume looked like it was A+. A+ with this funny big bat Jack Skellington bow tie. And you know what? It was one of the best Halloween costumes I ever had. It was really great. Because you have to be fearless. You have to be fearless when you do these costumes. Cliff, are there pictures of this costume? Aravandi, I may have to go digging way back into the 90s and look at some of my old print photographs. And when I find them, I will scan them in, okay? Yes. It would be very, very fun.
This is the craziest thing I did.
Whoa, dude, yeah, you did that leopard dye on your head?
Yeah.
That was the coolest. I really like that leopard dye. That was your Dennis
Hannah,
Rodman.
Your pink hair can't scare me none. I've been a leopard.
That was his total Dennis Rodman look. Oh, Justin, that's actually kind of hot. That was actually kind of cool.
Oh, geez,
that was really kind of cool look for you, dude. That's a really good look. I enjoyed that very much.
That wasn't the only one. I did tiger stripes too.
Ooh. Oh, show the folks at home that.
I did tiger stripes
That's pretty
too.
badass, too.
I will post these pictures on my personal profile.
All right, now that I'm talking about this, I've got to find my pictures of my old Jack Skellington outfit.
Pink hair don't scare me none, but someone else has got to do it, because last time I tried to do my hair silver, it ended up bright blue. I didn't use toner. I used dye.
You didn't.
So stupid.
I know that hurt. Did that burn your scalp?
No, it didn't burn my scalp. It just toned. It was supposed to tone it from yellow to silver, and instead it went.
Oh my gosh.
What everyone in the chat? Did you guys actually see that? I just held it up to camera. I'm not sure if that you could actually like see what I was showing you.
Come on onto Skype,
on the
guys.
things.
We'll turn on Skype, so
So-
we'll be available, and then
Oh, yeah.
we'll put you in on Skype. You can join us.
Gosh, I'm so sorry, guys.
No. We've got Skype open. It's going to be fabulous. Let's see. Do I have it open here? Nope. That's my personal account. But let me log in
Hold on, I got it.
with the One Ring. That way we can have you guys in Skype calls.
I'm in. I'm in as the One Ring.
All right. Good times.
Okay.
Good times. You can call us on the hotline 530
Call and ask me.
64 Frodo.
Let me. You know what else I saw on this road trip?
Tell me.
I'm just gonna quickly go down.
I'm
Okay,
loving
ready?
your travel stories.
Are you ready?
Why isn't Chris Saint here with us to talk about these amazing
He's
stories?
so exhausted and he's broke. He's at work right now,
Trying to make money.
earning that money back.
Did he spend everything he had?
You said the only reason you couldn't go is you have bills to pay.
I had weddings to do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had bills to pay. I got weddings to do.
I tell you, so you know what we went to? I've always wanted to go here. Every road trip, we never made it. I finally made it. Graceland.
You didn't go to Graceland.
I was in the room.
I saw the news. There were people there having a vigil because was the controversy because they were charging people to come in and be part of the vigil
No, I don't
at
think
Graceland? Was it the anniversary of his birthday? Or his
Yeah,
death?
anniversary of his death day, I think. I went to Graceland, and look, all of the rumors of that he was eccentric and his design style was eccentric. Elvis's design and his house was like crazy wild man house. I mean, he's got the root, the what do they call it, the jungle room,
Yeah.
and everything like that. I was there. I sat in it. It wasn't crazy. In fact, everything in his house in Graceland is a snapshot of the highest fashion of 1977.
Really?
And I've lived in LA all my
Really?
life. You've been here enough. You've been to so many houses of people in LA that never changed the fashion, like wood paneled,
Yes.
wood
Yeah.
panels and green shag carpet and
Building materials from the 70s were very unique at the time.
and
yes. And
carpet on the walls and stuff like that.
Huh.
Elvis's house is a snapshot of 77. It's not a snapshot of an eccentric millionaire that had his wildest desires put into the fashioning of his house. No, it looks like every other house I've been to in LA that hasn't been remodeled since the 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wowzer.
Shag carpet, pool tables, cloth on the ceiling. It was wonderful. It just looked like a normal LA guy from the 70s. I also went to Jesse James's house. You know how I'm obsessed with outlaw Jesse James.
Wow, that's cool.
Shot and killed by the coward Robert Ford. Wonderful movie starring Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck. So I went to Jesse James's house and saw the bullet hole that missed Jesse.
Yeah.
The other one
cool.
that killed him, and they have the original lithographs of his death. It was the most famous celebrity death photo since Abraham Lincoln.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they
where
say
was this at?
they say that Jesse James is the best-selling death photo of all time.
What was this at?
Kansas City, outside Kansas City.
Wow, was that on your way back?
Yeah.
Were you driving through what was left of Harvey? The low pressure
No,
system
we
became
didn't.
rain?
We didn't see anything with Harvey.
Really?
Yeah,
There was nothing left and it just dissipated by then.
And I also went to the very first KFC. We were driving through Kentucky.
Yes,
and
really? Did you get some?
As a joke, I was like, "Wow, we're in Kentucky. Wouldn't it be funny if we got KFC?" And the next billboard off the highway after these words came out of my mouth was "Visit the original KFC."
The original.
And we
Wow.
went there, and it's the original. There was a Motor Inn, and then the wife had a cafe.
Yeah.
She was famous for her fried chicken.
Yes.
And they have the original KFC there with the original pressure cookers.
Whoa.
I mean, they have the kitchen set up. You could take pictures and everything
That's
like
so
that.
cool.
And the bed and breakfast. So I went to the KFC, and then I went to Kent State. You know where the famous
the famous
song,
shootings of Kent State.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young wrote a wonderful song
Because of
for
the
Dead
horrific
and
shootings.
Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah, when the government
Yeah.
couldn't quell protesters and they started shooting at
the
them.
kids. Yeah.
So amazing. We got and we started making some interesting VR footage where we would put the VR cameras where the cameras used to be. So you'd see like students playing Pokemon Go, you know,
Yeah.
walking around campus.
Yeah.
But then we photoshopped in the black and white footage of like the teenager dying in the street.
Yeah.
And the girl screaming.
Yeah, that
and,
iconic photo.
And it's VR, so if you look behind you, you can see like the row of militarized police force,
Really?
like
Wow.
taking aim, and you're like, wow, I'm watching someone play Pokemon Go. There's another girl on the grass reading a book, and in black and white, photoshopped in, there's a firing squad and like people dying in front of me, and it really gives you a sense of like, wow,
That's amazing. Yeah.
history happened right here.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You
That's
know.
really, really cool. You had the coolest trip, dude.
So,
I'm so
then
glad to hear some of these
and
stories.
we went back to the dinosaur museum in Morrison.
You did? Oh,
outside
you got to see our friends
Denver.
there outside of Denver?
I went to the Morrison Museum of Natural History near Red Rocks, and I walked in.
How's our friends doing? Our extended family.
I walked in, and the first guy I see is Dr. Robert Bacher.
Robert Bach.
And he's just like, I know you.
That's
I
good.
said, I know you. And boy, oh boy, did we talk about Smaug. And he was so frustrated that Smaug was too big, you know, and he wanted to talk about the dragons in Game of Thrones, how they're actually a good size.
The appropriate size.
And
yeah.
they have good weight when they flap their wings and stuff.
Yes.
And Dr. Robert Bacher was just saying that that Game of Thrones really got dragons right. Unfortunately, Smaug, this guy,
Smaug.
is just too big. He's just too big. He should have been smaller. If he's going to have a dialogue, dramatic dialogue with a hobbit and with a dwarf, he should have been smaller.
I can understand that.
So that was his thing. But we got the Skype hotline on.
Well,
give us a Skype. I'll tell you all about it.
The larger they are, the larger they fall, right? Isn't that how they say it? Ha ha. Dudes and dudettes, you want to be part of the show? Talk to us on the hotline. The hotline is now on 530 number 6 number 4 FRODO. Frodo. All right, we did it. We finally got a show on. Torn Tuesday is back. It's nice to have Justin, my co-host, back. Hello, everybody, all of our regulars out there. It's nice to see everyone. I didn't even get to say that, but it is nice to see everybody. And I'm intrigued by Justin's fun tales of misadventures all across America. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I love it. What's that? I feel like I've missed up so much Torn Tuesday lately, but I'm not feeling well and sitting at a computer isn't helping. Oh, well, sweetheart, see you next Tuesday. Get yourself to bed. Get a nice bowl of chicken soup and maybe a hot tea.
And we will see you next week.
And we'll definitely see you next week and hope you're feeling much better. Janessa, it's good to see you. This guy, he's back. We're all back. I'm the one who was hoping that I would get called in by Skype into your live stream, but you didn't have the ability to drive, run a live stream, and Skype at the same time.
That's right.
And I didn't even get to be part of that trip. So vicariously, I hear your stories, and I'm living your adventures vicariously.
I tell you, the interesting part is that we went to middle of Ohio, like Kent State, Ohio, in Kent.
The Buckeye State.
Is in the middle of the state.
Yep.
And
There's
nothing around. Akron's
well, it's
to the
high
south.
in the middle and round on both ends.
It's south of
Cleveland,
south of Cleveland, north of Akron.
Yep.
And so we went to the local, we were at Kent State, and in the middle of the college, and we were like, hey, we're looking for someplace hobbity to eat or something. And the students were like, oh, you need to go to Mike's place. He's got a hobbit hole. Like,
oh, cool.
Okay? Like, just look up Mike's place. So we went, we like Googled it, and Mike's place turned out to be an actual restaurant with an X-wing out front.
Wow, cool.
And
we
walked in and we're like, hey, we heard you have a hobbit booth. He's like, oh boy, let me show you. And sure enough, there in the corner of the restaurant is a giant hobbit booth. It turns out Mike's place was founded in a booth at a restaurant called Bilbo's Place in Akron.
Oh.
And so they had all these pictures of Bilbo's place in Akron
Oop.
that became Mike's place.
That was the Horn of Gondor.
That's right. So, so it was wonderful, and then we stopped in Fargo, North Dakota, and we put it out there like, hey, who wants to meet up? And there were a bunch of Tolkien fans. They were like, oh, we should go to this wonderful place. We went to this coffee shop, total hipster, straight out of Silver Lake.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it said, he's like, oh, where are you guys from? And we're like, from the One Ring. He's like, oh man, the barista was like, I just finished reading the Silmarillion. Can I join you in conversation? It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So
cool.
we thought we were gonna stop for
That's
like
cool.
45 minutes,
Yeah.
turned into 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool.
as these things do. So it's just wonderful to meet up with Tolkien fans
Yeah.
around
that's
the
good.
country, where like a short conversation turns into a super long one.
While you were on your way to Wheaton College, I believe they closed the library before you arrived.
That's right.
Because a wizard is never late.
They close at 4 though, and they don't care about wizards.
That's right.
We showed
there
up
you
at
go.
4:18.
Oh my God. Almost in time for 4:20.
4:18.
Almost in time for 4:20.
4:18.
They probably thought you were a bunch of stoner kids trying to just do graffiti on
No,
Tolkien's desk.
the lights were out and no one was home.
Tolkien, as in Professor Tolkien, the object of our greater affection here in the world of ringers. Tolkien has his own original writing desk that was in his home in Oxford, where he sat down and wrote The Lord of the Rings. And it's there in Illinois, in the far western suburbs of Chicago.
That's right.
Wheaton College.
Wheaton College, a Christian college.
Indeed.
They also have C.S. Lewis's wardrobe.
Indeed. Oh, yes, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have his real wardrobe.
That's super cool.
The writer of
And
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Not too far north of Chicago, in another place worth visiting, if you go up to Marquette University
Uh-huh.
in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
well, that's where they have all of Tolkien's papers. They have the archives of his letters, his manuscripts. They've got lots and lots of stuff that was donated by Christopher Tolkien. It's like original Tolkien manuscripts
Oh, man.
are up there at that university
Oh,
in
man.
Wisconsin. So cool. We'll have to go there another road trip one year
Absolutely.
and see if we can get access to the archives, and I'll be with you for that.
Hey,
That'd
Northerner,
be so cool.
I want to see you go to Dragon Con one of these years. I think you'll have a blast. Even if you don't cosplay, I think you'll really enjoy Dragon Con. And it's in your time zone, Northerner.
Yeah. Yeah, Northerner, Dragon Con is really a lot of fun. It's really crazy, crazy fun, that's for sure.
So Hannah took the entire road trip, was
Mhm.
calling me names on Twitter. I'm not too happy about that.
Hannah was calling you names?
She was calling me names.
Really?
And I don't know why she was calling me names, but all I wanted was support.
Maybe
Hey,
you deserved being called a few names.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Letitia
I don't know, I wasn't
Greenwich has
there.
joined us. Vicky Pochepko. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
A wizard is never late.
He arrives precisely when he means to.
Were
So-
there female wizards?
No. No.
Do the female elves, high elves, have the power of wizards?
No, because the wizards were angelic beings. They were not living elves. They were a different being.
So what
They were a
is the
different
most
organism.
powerful female in Middle Earth?
Wow. That might be Varda. Yeah. Probably Varda, Queen of the Stars.
So what's the most powerful?
But they're the Valar. We're talking about Valar, but they are. We're talking about Mount Olympus type of like Zeus, Athena, you know, all these, and
Okay.
Apollo. We're talking about deities.
Okay.
If you're talking about living organisms, living people,
Yeah.
then you'd have to say Galadriel would be the single most powerful.
What is
female.
the most
By
powerful
far.
female?
Lady Galadriel.
What's it?
But Luthien
Race?
was
Ra-
pretty
not
powerful.
Not person, but like female race. What's the word I'm looking for?
Amazons, the most powerful female.
Like the
race?
wizards are all men.
Yeah, well,
They're powerful. What is the most female category?
okay.
Elves?
Yeah, the female elves, I'm sure. Oh yeah, there's more stories and more proof about female elves and their abilities
Hey,
than
watch
anywhere
your
else.
language.
No speculation there.
Hannah
Right.
Took. She's calling me names again, Cliff. I don't like it. Morgoth was the
You
most powerful.
You didn't like getting teased? If Hannah's going to tease you, it's only because friends, as you know, tease you. Friends will always tease you.
But hick is not a friendly term.
Ah,
I rode a horse. Oh, I picked corn and string beans, and then I cooked them for dinner the same night. I actually did farm to table.
You did not.
Yeah, I walked into a cornfield. I picked some corn. I walked into a bean field. I picked beans, and then I cooked them and ate them that night.
Yummy, farm to table.
I was full farm to table.
Not bad, huh?
I don't think the hobbits were farm to table. I think they had a good agrarian society, but I don't believe for 1 minute that Bilbo and Frodo did the work themselves.
I think the camera battery is about to die, guys. It's blinking on the corner. Oh, yeah, that battery is blinking in the corner.
That's right.
It is blinking.
If it goes dark, we're cutting the show short.
Okay, we still have time left on this show, but isn't that plugged in or are you using a battery pack?
That's well, the battery, the blinking light is telling us otherwise.
Okay, you're not plugged in. We're doing a battery pack. How about that? Okay, now instead of watching the show, you guys are going to be watching that damn blinking battery, trying to see how much longer we have.
That's right.
Ha 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 ha! That's hilarious.
Northerner, DragonCon is like high school. You should totally go. You'll have a blast talking with people. Guys, yeah, everyone in the chat room is like, guys, this could go anytime.
Yeah, it could go at any
understand.
time, but I'm enjoying this. Welcome back. First of all, I'm glad to see you made it safe and sound.
I'm glad you're still here.
Number one memory of DragonCon. Number one memory, best memory. Was it a late night event? Was it an award? Was it our evening at Bree with Green Dragon and Deej and all of our friends? What was the number one memory?
Our number one memory of DragonCon this year, 2017, was the amazing new T-shirt that we designed.
Coexist. That's a really good design.
Co-founder Kalasuri designed the shirt.
It's a really great shirt. It's a really great shirt.
It's so wonderful. I saw it a few weeks ago when we were throwing it around, and it's wonderful.
It is.
It's perfectly timed.
Yes, it is.
And it is exactly what the fandom needs right now.
It's nice that we're talking about inclusion.
If you go to our Instagram,
yes,
our Twitter, and our Facebook, you can see pictures of our DragonCon exclusive T-shirt. It's called Coexist, and it's amazing. Unfortunately, we can't put it online just yet, but we're going to New York Comic Con. I think we're gonna. It was such a big hit at DragonCon. I think we're gonna print more for New York Comic Con. So if you got anyone going to New York Comic Con, make sure you ask them to pick one of those up. It's amazing.
Are you going to be making them here, or are they going to be made on the East Coast?
I don't know. We have to.
Right.
It was just wonderful.
When is New York Comic Con? Remind the folks at home. Oh, battery's dead.
It's at the end of the month.
Battery's gone.
Well, it's like the fires of Mordor have shut us down.
Well, if you're watching on the 360 live stream, if you can still hear us, we love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Battery's dying on the 360 camera too.
Is it?
So,
what a lovely show. You guys really, this was a lovely show. Welcome back, son.
Yes.
Welcome back. I'm glad to have you back safe and sound.
I'm sorry you didn't come with us. You were sorely missed.
I can only imagine.
And I wish you could have joined.
I can only imagine.
A road trip is not a road trip without Cliff Broadway.
That's true.
Narrating the whole way.
That's true.
Well, thank you for joining us. We will charge up our batteries, and we will be back next week.
All right. That's first weekend of October. That's right.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
5 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday.
Guess
here from Meltdown Comics Hollywood.
I'm introducing a bunch of new friends. I know you guys might still be listening to our voices in the darkness of the interwebs, but hey, Justin, have I got a show idea for you?
Yes.
I have this beautiful friend of mine. She's 70. She just turned 70 years old.
That's right.
She's from London. She's a really great London gal. She lived through the 60s and the amazing craze of London, swing in London in the 60s, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's got stories to tell. Well, I got her to fall in love with the Hobbit films, and tomorrow we're showing her the Fellowship of the Ring for the first time ever. She's watching all the appendices, and she loves all the actors, and she loves all these, she grew up with Peter Cushing and original, Christopher Lee, and Alec Guinness movies, the Lady Killers. And I want to bring her on the show and have her share her impressions of just being exposed to the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit for the first time.
We should also
That'd be a really
bring
fun
in-
show.
The other thing about Dragon Con was that we're at a point now where people that were too young to see Lord of the Rings in theaters,
Yes.
that weren't even born,
Yeah.
are now cosplaying at Dragon Con.
Because they're catching up with watching it at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway, you can join us every week. We'll be here next week. And leave a comment.
Oh, they can hear us. It is like
let us
listening to
know
a radio
if-
show.
Let us know if you like this VR stuff, or if you want Facebook to
We
go
do.
back.
Yes,
to,
Pete. It is an awesome
original.
idea. I got a vote from North Ronner. Yes,
So,
it is an awesome
All
idea.
right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
You guys?
Facebook.
Promise me you guys will take good care.
3,
Everyone, come
2,
back
1.
next week. We'll see you next week on Torn Tuesday. Bye.
That was a good show.
That was really fun. Oh gosh, wow, yeah, I thought it would be kind of crazy fun to have you and Chris Saint sitting here telling, oh, do you remember that? You remember when that happened?